Marketing and sales may sound very similar, but they are two completely different things, and all these other gurus do not tell us how it actually is specifically defined. And I'm going to explain how marketing and sales is specifically like in today's video. Alright, we all know that sales and marketing have a very similar aim, and that is to get a customer to go in and buy a product or service from us. Practically the same in those circumstances, but I've set it up in a completely different way and how I would go by of how the sales and marketing would work. And we're about to go through it in this video. And the way of how I set it up to work is that I used a 3-stage process in how a customer would come in to buy a product or service and how it would all be set up. Okay, so let's just imagine, honestly, there are 3 stages. On the first stage, there is the general market there is the general public, and what they have the intent to do is come in and buy from the good or service in what it is. And what we need to do is get them off to stage 3, which is the point where they buy. And the way of how we get there is going through the process of getting their attention and then getting them into the stage 2 section. And just imagine the stage 2 section as like the existing audience for the company, and it has the intention to try and keep them there, and the way of how you keep them there is to keep them going to stage 3 of the process. But if they don't go to stage 3 of the process, they're gone back to the stage 1 of the process, and they aren't going to make any more revenue from that business anymore. So this is how it's all set up. First of all, an unknown customer of the general public starts off in stage 3, and what you have to do is get them to stage 1, and that process is the marketing process, because of the fact that you have to pull them in to buy to your business as a whole and towards the products and services that get provided to the marketplace. Whereas what sales are is the point of getting a product in front of a customer. And the way of how that happens is if you're in stage 2 of the process, then you get the customer from stage 2 of the process to stage 1 of the to stage 3 of the entire process. And you may think, what does this all mean? So just imagine it as a piece of cake, basically. And on the outside of the cake, you're just the general public, and you have no idea what the cake has. It is comprised of treasury, and you have no idea what it could contain. But then, so you explore into that business, and then when you find its products and services, and although it's not going to come naturally though, because marketing, it takes a good understanding of this in order to truly to get good at the game of marketing, as well as, understanding their demographics, such as their income, their age, their gender. And you have to get them from the stage 1 of the process to stage 3, which is the process in which where every single customer will buy the product or service. And then the thing that you have to make sure you must find a way to do is that you have to practically get them to stage 2 of the process and keep them in stage 2 of the process. And what stage 2 of the process is the point at which where the customers will actually will be around the business, they'll know the business very well, and they're gonna practically buy from the business again. But if you don't make them go into stage 3 of the process as often as possible, they're gonna be back to stage 1.
And this is basically how I'd define marketing and sales.
It is the point of where, like, anyone who's unknown of the business, you have to pull them in to stage 2 so then they can understand the business more, and then get them through the 4-stage process of them going in to make a purchase. And it would be the 4 stages of trying to get them to actually buy. So what are those 4 stages, you may ask? Okay, the 4 stages is the awareness stage, and that is when the customers that don't know your business yet, they go from stage 1 of the process to stage 2 of the process within. And in that point, that is the marketing bit done, of where you attracted them into the business, and then you have to get them, and you have to get that customer to buy from you, which is a sales process of 3 stages. Then, because after the awareness stage, there is a consideration stage, of the point of the customer trying to consider whether they should make a purchase, whether it solves, whether that specific product or service solves their pains, it solves their problems, it solves everything that they're after within the marketplace, because of the fact that they have those pains. And then from that point on, they must go into the purchase stage, which is the stage 3 of the process. And you want to keep them in stage 3 of the process, and the way in which how you can keep them in stage 3 of the process, although they're not going to stay in it forever, they're going to go straight back, but then you have to get them back into the purchase stage. And that 4th stage is the post-purchase stage, and that is the point where for instance, let's say you're selling a clothing brand, a subscription-based business, of where you put in extra features that could complement with that product or service, such as with the clothing brand, you might practically find out putting a hoodie with it, or like for instance a subscription based business, you might as well put an additional a higher subscription base on it to remove ads or something. And that is the point of trying to keep them into stage 3 and try and not let them go from stage 2 of the marketing and sales process back to stage 1, because that's the stage you don't want them to be in, because otherwise that's where everyone in the business is basically fired, basically. So you have to make sure they're just not back into stage 1 of the process. And let me just clarify this again. Getting them from stage 1 to stage 3 or stage 2 is a marketing process, and getting them from stage 2 to stage 3 is the sales process. And that is the point, because that's the point where you have to get the product in front of the customer's eyes. And this will apply for any business. It does not matter whether you're a clothing brand, an e-commerce store, a social media marketing agency. Like, it doesn't matter what business or what business model you decide. Every single business. It does not matter whether you're doing high ticket sales. Does not matter whether you're doing inbound or outbound sales or inbound and outbound marketing. Every single business model will work on that 3-stage sales and marketing process that I specifically created myself, and no other video or YouTuber has ever talked about, and I'm the first one to talk about it. And that is going to be practically how a sales and marketing process will work. And this is going to be no BS advice. And you can literally look at it and get a deep understanding about it. And trust me when I say so, it will honestly work like that. And I've practically invented it myself, so like, I kind of feel special for that, but also the fact that it made understanding the sales and marketing process so complicated for me, and even I didn't understand before I watched those gurus. But this is practically how I made it. I didn't make it all up, I kind of did make it up, but this is how I actually thought how the sales and marketing process worked, and how sales and marketing differ, and how to simplify it straight down and not to leave it all complicated to all you like-minded entrepreneurs that might watch this video. But anyway, really, this practically is how I'm going with it, and this is practically how I figured it out from all these gurus that basically are keeping it so hidden and locked away that they were so confusing on it. But this is how I went about the process, and I'm pretty sure in the game of business it's gonna work that way. But anyway, guys, if you do practically want to grow with me and grow a successful business with me, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the like button and share it to other like-minded entrepreneurs that are disciplined and are actually going to do the hard work even when they don't feel like it.